My name is Serge Bushman. I'm the president of Woodcache PBC. I was inspired by a giant wildfire that had occurred in California. It was spewing out billions of tons of CO2 into the environment, and thought there ought to be something that we could do. Ultimately, we're all interested in having less carbon in the air, but there are quite a few companies that say we're going to be net zero in 2030. What they have to do is reduce their carbon emissions to a certain level. Then they recognize we can't get it to zero. So what we need is to buy offsets, buy carbon credits. The risk that a company takes is that they will buy a carbon certificate that turns out to be false, or turns out to have reversed itself. So for example, there are these things where you would buy a carbon certificate where there's a forest, and you're saying the forest is a carbon sink. That is, it's a place where carbon is stored, and that's a good thing. But what if that forest burns down? Woody Biomass Storage is a well understood and well vetted methodology, very simple technology. We remove already dead, mostly unmerchantable wood. We move it from a place where the forest is to a place where we bury it. And then we excavate, we put the wood in the ground. But imagine that, you dig up that wood 100 years from now, and 90% of that wood is still there. That's pretty exciting, right? Ultimately, companies will buy carbon credits based on our work. This is a valid, useful, scalable approach that is repeatable. So a lot of times what big companies want is they want to be able to buy X amount every year for the next 10 years. And that's what we can do. Our goal is to scale fast enough that by 2030, we will have the capacity to sequester a gigaton of carbon each year. Woody Biomass Storage will make a big difference in the environment.